If you have somebody who is perhaps a low income earner, or they did not plan, really financially speaking, for end of life for themselves, and you tell them, hey, this is the cost, here's all the services, it's $8,000 or $10,000 a month. They may just be like, oh my gosh, this is astronomical, like I can't do this. And some of them, and most of them honestly, won't come. But if they do decide to come, their expectation is gonna be super high because of where they're at income-wise versus your pricing. What's up, mansion builders? Welcome back to Assisted Living Investing. I wanna talk to you today about why you should have affluent customers, why you should be charging a lot of money for your service, right? Your memory care mansion. And I think that is the best way to go aside from profit. We're not gonna talk about profit today, but how having an actual customer of a certain affluency is better for you. There's less drama, all these kind of things. So let's dig into this. So I've been on both sides of the spectrum here with running a care home that was very low income. It was almost for free, taking care of people as really kind of more of a passion project. And that's where we got into this. That's how we started with this before we opened up Platinum Resort. And then Platinum Resort, we came from a different perspective of let's create a different product. Let's bring in a different type of customer that focuses more on end of life, on memory care, but has a gorgeous, beautiful product. And we're going to attract a different type of customer, a more affluent customer. And I can tell you, being on both sides of the spectrum now, and then being just in real estate and doing lots of different deals on when we first got started, mobile homes and a lot more low income housing and things like that versus, being on bigger deals and more, multi-million dollar projects in more affluent areas, that there is definitely a difference from your customer. And I want to tell you that it is so much easier and there's lower drama and there's lower risk of lawsuits and all these kind of complaints and things like that when you have a more affluent customer. So not only do you make more money, everything just seems to be easy. Nothing's really easy in business, right? Especially if you're talking about end-of-life care. There are issues. People are actually dying. They are falling. They are breaking hips. They are having to go, sent out to the hospital, all sorts of things. But when you have a more affluent customer, there just is less drama. It's just easier. So let's talk about this. So I think about it from this perspective. A lot of it goes to the expectation of what you are providing based on the cost, right? And if you have a high cost item, right? If you're charging $10,000+ a month per resident for your service, right? What you do for end of life care or memory care or anything like that, that there's definitely a barrier of entry there where there's a lot of people who just cannot afford your service. And so I actually think that is a huge advantage. And think of it from this perspective. You have people who have financially planned for end of life, for retirement, for really passing away, right? They've financially prepared for it. And that may be the actual resident, right? They may have assets, they may have built equity, they may have, stocks, or who knows what they have, but they've physically or financially planned for themselves, right? To prepare to pass. And or there may be the family, the resident themselves, they may have ran out of money, but the family has financial means to be able to provide for mom or dad at the end of life. And again, if you've prepared in that, then the expectation for the dollar amount is a lot less. So what I mean by that, it's just relative. If you have somebody who is perhaps a low income earner, or they did not plan, really financially speaking, for end of life for themselves, and you tell them, hey, this is the cost, here's all the services, it's $8,000 or $10,000 a month. They may just be like, oh my gosh, this is astronomical, like I can't do this. And some of them, and most of them honestly, won't come. But if they do decide to come, the expectation of your service, the expectation that everything is going to be perfect, that the food and the chef is going to be amazing, that they're going to get the best private room, that you ring a little bell, right, when mom needs something and somebody's going to be there like a little butler. Their expectation is going to be super high because of where they're at income-wise versus your pricing. So if you have not prepared financially and you say, hey, our pricing is $10,000 a month, to them, that might be the same of, that's $50,000 a month to another customer, right? Think of it this way. If you brought in another customer who is more financially prepared. They have set themselves up for retirement, for end of life, or the children are making, let's just say, 5 times the income, right? Then that same $10,000 will seem like $10,000, or it may actually seem like, to them, it may seem like $2,000, right? Versus the person who is not financially prepared, you tell them it's $10,000. To them, their perspective, it may be that's the same as $50,000 a month compared to the person who makes 5 times that, right? So it's just a perspective on these costs. And the expectation of your product and or your service is relative to your customer. And if you have a more affluent customer and they are actually spending a lower percentage of their monthly budget towards the care, then their expectation is a lot more reasonable. When you have a fall for mom, or when she gets sick, or when she has, she doesn't like the chef's food, right? Or when she has to go to the restroom in the middle of the night and it takes the caregivers 5 minutes because they're toileting someone else to get there. These are all reasonable expectations, at least from my perspective as a business owner, that, hey, you know what? We can't get to you immediately, but we're going to get to you really quickly, right? These are expectations of, this is how I run my business. And if it is not a huge deal, it's not pushing their budget so hard, then they're not going to be upset. They're going to have like a go with the flow attitude towards these things. But if you think like, hey, this is the equivalent of $50,000 a month, right? Because I really can't afford this, or we're spending way too much on this kind of care to get mom the best of the best care, then your expectations are, you know what, everything has to be perfect. Literally, mom needs to ring a bell and someone needs to be there, like butler style, to help her to the toilet or to get her whatever she needs, right? Like the chef there needs to like dial in everything that she wants and makes it perfect, right? Like that would be the expectation for me for 50 grand a month. Like that's a ton of money. And that could be the same for somebody who makes, 20% of your normal customer. And if you're charging 10, right, that would be the equivalent to 50. So I want to tell you that if you have a more affluent customer and you have a more affluent product, then you're going to draw in these people that, you know what, they're just going to have more reasonable expectations. And as that pushes forward, because we do end of life care, because people are going to die there, it actually decreases the risk, the liability, the potential for lawsuits, the potential for drama. It cuts that down so much, because honestly, like families that have more capital, they've prepared. They are coming in with reasonable expectations. And those are usually the people that are low drama. They understand, here's what the system is, here's how things go. And when mom falls, they are not trying to sue to get their money back, right? Like they are not in a place where they are like scrounging for every single dollar. And if an opportunity comes and it's like, hey, let's sue because mom fell, like maybe we can get, $1 million from this company. Those are not the kind of customers that are coming in, right? You don't have those type of people who are trying to work the system financially and threaten to sue and all those kind of things. That's not the affluent customer. They're a no drama, very realistic expectations kind of customer. And honestly, I think if you were in a lower position, if you were charging $3,500 a month and you did have natural things, people fall and things like that, those would actually be the customers who are really trying to sue you, who are trying to make $100,000 or $1 million because they don't have those resources, right? Those are the kind of people who go and, when they burn themselves on the McDonald's coffee, those are the people that are suing. And so I really think that there's a huge difference between the customers, people who are financially prepared and people who haven't. And people who are financially prepared for end of life have got their ducks in a row. They have way better expectations for what these things are. And they're a lot less drama. They're a lot less risk or liability from a lawsuit perspective, from even a complaint perspective. And I think an important distinction here is it's not just the resident or not just the family. It's really both, right? If you have a resident who's very well-to-do and they've prepared for themselves and they have a bunch of assets, and then you have a bunch of children who are of a different caliber financially speaking, there can still be a bunch of drama there, right? The kids can be like, hey, let me get at mom's money kind of vibe. Like it's just not the right fit. I honestly do think you need the whole family, at least the power of attorney and the resident, to kind of be on the same page. of that caliber of customer for us to have that kind of reasonable expectation for what our product and service is going to be. So you may ask then, well, how do I draw an affluent customer? Well, it's pretty simple. You have an affluent type of product, right? And that's why I build these mansions. So there is a physical product that is really important. So if you have private rooms and you have a chef and you have a salon and you have a big, gorgeous mansion style building, affluent customers are only looking at affluent products. They are not going to be considering any type of shared room. Even if you have a redone, beautiful, RAL and you have shared rooms, they're just not going to be looking at that, right? They do not want to pay $3,500 or $4,500 and share a room for mom. That's not what they want. Mom wants her own room, her own bathroom, her own closet. She's going to want a salon. She's going to want a chef. She's going to want all of these things. If you can offer that, you will only draw the affluent customers. There's people, they'll go and look at your website. They'll see what you're doing. They're like, oh, I know that's out of our range. We can't afford that. We're not going to tour, right? So we are drawing in our customers based on our physical product. The other thing is our location. Location is a really, really important part of this. If you want to draw affluent customers, don't be in a non-affluent part of town. Affluent customers will not go to that part of town. Not only will they not go if you have a beautiful product that is private rooms, they're not going to want to be in that area. They're going to want to, really be close to where they live. And so you want to be in an area of town where the affluent customers live. And usually for me, that's the family. Who are the children? I want to live closer to the children who are probably 50 to 70 years old on the more affluent parts of town and provide a product that they want for their mom. Mom may not care. She may have dementia and she may not know what day it is or what her name is, right? She doesn't care if she's in a private room, she has a bathroom or not. She may have no idea. But the children, the families, the power of attorney, they still think it is necessary for mom to have all of these things. So that's why that's only what we do. We only build these new construction mansions and we have our physical product and our location designed for who our ideal customer is. So to put this together for you here, the two goals that I have, right? Financial freedom and time freedom. Honestly, this works with both of those things. When you have this affluent product, you draw in this affluent customer. You make amazing money on these things, but you also have a low drama, low risk of liability and all these kind of things. It all works towards the ownership, right? It's lower drama on the caregivers, and then it's lower drama on the managers, and then I, as the ownership team, get less calls, and I'm able to spend more time with my family. I'm able to make great profit. So I do think that this is an important kind of niche in this space to say, hey, I want to have this luxury product. I want to draw in this affluent customer because it really gives me the end result of freedom of opportunity. I want my financial freedom, I want my time freedom, and I'm able to do it with this niche. So I hope this is helpful for you to say, okay, here's my line in the sand. Here's where I'm trying to get to. And for me to get there, it is best to do it in this way. So if you want to see what I'm talking about here, the actual physical product, right? Follow us on our Facebook group, Assisted Living Investing - Memory Care Mansion. See all the construction, see our mansions being built, see the private rooms, see how we have fireplaces in every master bedroom, how we have these huge 20-foot high great rooms, vaulted ceilings. It's the most gorgeous building. So you'll get a lot of ideas on how to build and how to design these things. And then lastly, I don't run any ads on this show. I don't sell anything. My only goal is to help future entrepreneurs get life-changing results through this niche, build their own awesome memory care mansion, hit financial freedom, and do it in a way that helps their community. So the only way I can reach my goal is if you help me share this. Share it with a future entrepreneur that is looking for a path to financial freedom. Help them by showing them, hey, here's the mansion idea, right? Check this out. This is something that you can pursue. Take your talents, your skills, your abilities, and use these frameworks, right? Hit our website. All of this stuff is free on there. There's so much training that is there. So if you can share the show and help another future entrepreneur hit their goals, that would be awesome. I will see you guys on the next one.